Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about a new little venture that Southern Tide Chasers is going to be getting into. We're going to be making these uh, jig heads here. These are, they call like a sweeper jig or a stand-up jig for different baits. You can put your soft baits on there, but what a lot of people are using these, they also use a banana jig, um, which is kind of similar, but it doesn't set the hook up as high as this does in the water. So that's the way this will kind of sit. And what a lot of people are using these for is for going after sheephead. So we are going to start making both the stand-up jig and what they call an Erie jig, like Lake Erie, not spooky jig. Um, and it does the same thing. It puts the bait more upright in the water with the lead down, but on the Erie jig, the hook is just slightly more angled back. So I've got a chance to get these new lead sinkers, jig heads, into uh, a few local stores here in Northwest Florida. I'm not going to name the stores right now because we're in the process of getting everything going, but they will be in a store near you here very soon if you're up in the Northwest Florida area. So, yeah, if you're in Northwest Florida around like the Weewall surrounding areas, um, we're going to be in a few stores up there. And over in my area around the Panama City area, I've got one or two stores also going to be putting these things in. And as we build, we are going to be doing more than just these jig heads right now, but this is what we're going to start with because the sheephead are just about to come in real strong. And I want to go ahead and get these out there because one of the stores in particular, they don't have anybody supplying them with this style jig right now. That's why they are looking to get us in there. So what we're going to start with is I've already went out and I've sprayed these jigs white, and I am going to be just painting these later on. Once we get into actual like production of making these, I will be powder coating the colors on. This is more of just to show some different ideas of colors and stuff like that. So I'm going to do kind of like I did on the crankbaits and the whopper plopper jig that or lure that I sprayed on here. I'm going to be doing the same thing with these jig heads. And like I say, I've sprayed both the top and the underside so we can get some color all around these. And the whole purpose again is, you put your crab, your small fiddler crab up on this hook or whatever you want to use for bait for the sheephead. And as it sits on the bottom, it's going to raise that bait up and make it more presentable. So I'm going to be spraying the top side with the main design, but I'm also going to get color underneath on the bottom side as well. So we'll get into this. I'm going to put these guns together, these little airbrush guns, and I got all my colors right here. I think primarily what we're going to do is going to be a chartreuse because someone asked specifically for that coloring. I am going to be doing a striped with like brown stripes on these because I have seen that color variation. And then I'm going to pick just two colors for these two in the middle. I'm going to do 16 in total right here. and we'll jump right into it. All right, so the first color we're going to do here is, like I said, someone asked about the chartreuse color. So I'm definitely going to get that color going as our first one. And I'm going to do this farthest row. As I get them sprayed so you can kind of see, I will get them closer to the camera so we can get a close up of that color. Trying to make sure I get underneath real good with the color as well as on the top. So that there is your chartreuse. The next color I'm going to go with is going to be this fluorescent rose. I've seen another jig head that someone was using with their for their sheephead jig that was pretty similar to this. I don't have um, a real good like vibrant pink looking color in this group of paint that I've got, so we'll go with this fluorescent rose. I think that's gonna be pretty close. All right, so we'll put our fluorescent rose into the gun now. If you've seen the shirt that I had on, guys, the flow grown shirt again, if you go and look into the channel description, flow grown is a local Florida company. I'm sure if you're from around this area, you are very familiar with them. They are a channel affiliate, so definitely go up there, click on that link, and give those guys a look. Um, like I've said before, any of the support that you go and give the channel affiliates helps the channel out. I had somebody ask me what my favorite paints are on one of the other videos where I was spraying a crankbait, and honestly, this is the only paint that I've used outside of um, automotive paints and stuff like that that I've done on cars and on some of the boats that we've worked on. So I don't really have a preference. This is just a kit that I found. You can get this off of Amazon. But I will say this color is kind of really transparent. So probably there is a well, I can guarantee you there's a better paint out there to use to get this job done, and probably a little bit easier to work with. But this is what we've got for now, so this is what we're gonna go with. And like I say, when these go into the store, they're not going to be sprayed with this paint. This is just to get a general idea of some color schemes that we can use, give some displays when I go and show the store. And I'm doing this to make a video for you guys so y'all can see what we've got going on with the channel and different projects that we're working on. I don't know if the flickering of the lights is making it onto the camera very well, or if you can hear the thunder in the background, but we've got a bit of a storm here in Panama City today. So if we lose power at some point, we'll be sitting here in the dark doing this. Which leads me to another project that I will be putting on the channel here pretty soon. I am in the process of building a small homemade solar generator for when we go on location, like we're testing out lures from the boxes that we get in, or if we're testing out rod and reel combos and stuff. I've got a way to constantly charge cameras and keep all the gear up and going. Once I get that really figured out and put together real well, I'll show y'all a complete video on the whole process of putting that thing together. I am going to show the process of doing the pours for these jigs once I get the mold in and start really getting these ready for the store. I will have videos of that stuff up on the channel as well. And at some point, if we get into it, because I'm going to have to be making a lot, I think I'm going to start with probably 100 packs or so of these for each store that we're going to be putting these in. So, going to be doing a lot of these, getting them ready to go. Stuck a little bit. And one thing is, another channel affiliate is Mustad. So when I'm putting these together, um, I will be using all Mustad hooks for these. I've already got my hooks ordered, so um, we'll have those. You'll have a, a, uh, good quality hook. I'm not going to use any. any cheap hooks on these things. It's not so much to go and make a whole bunch of money on these things. This is a process to get people out there, get them fishing. Hopefully, we do make a profit on it, of course, once we start selling these. But I enjoy making the content, putting these together. It's going to be cool knowing that we've got Southern Tide Chasers, lures, jig heads out on the market, and people are going to be using them to get out there and really hook up on some big fish and have a good time. I'll get these dried up. I'll get them off the box that spraying on, and then we'll go with our next color, and it's gonna be this kind of light green. Maybe I'm trying to see if there's yeah. We'll go with this kind of a light green color there. See if I can get that on there, and then the last one is gonna be the white with the brown striping on it. And if it turns out right, which hopefully it will, it'll be a real good looking jig head when it's done too. And once I get these all dried up real good, I'll um, I'll put a close up there so we can take a look at the finished product. All right, guys, I've actually changed my mind. I'm going to go with this kind of a dark orange color, same color that we put on the Florida Gators inspired crankbait that I am still working on for my boss because I can't really get the colors to go together the way I want them to. So, but instead of that green, I'm gonna do these in a real bright orange. I've got a whole color palette of what is the kind of go-to colors on these um, jig heads for the sheep head, and I'll put that up too, so you can kind of see where I'm coming with these colors. Everybody has their own names for their colors and everything, kind of like the same thing with your panfish jigs or your crappie jigs. Everybody's got these fancy names for them, but everybody's using the same basic colors. You go and look at all the different lures that are out there. Everybody's using the same thing, and there's a reason for that. It's already been proven to work. So no point in reinventing the wheel when it comes to the colors for these things. Go with what you know works. The whole point of it is to put out a product that when you go out on the water, you've got a better chance of pulling in that big fish. That's what the end goal is. So I'm not going to go and tell you that I I invented some color scheme because it's all out there. Everybody is using the same basic color schemes. It's so there you go. There's your orange for your uh, third color of the jig heads that I'm doing today. Then this final color is the only one that's going to take a little bit of finesse on it, putting in just small brown streaks over the top of that white. So let me get these off of here, get the little airbrush gun all cleaned up. I'm going to straighten up some of this stuff, and then we'll go with these final jig heads. I will get everything kind of um, touched up, and I'll get some close-ups of each one of these colors so y'all can see it, and we'll go from there. All right, so on these, I'm able to just push the jig head all the way down because I'm actually wanting the white to be one of the primary colors on here. And then we're going to put this yellowish brown, is what it says on here. It's that or the reddish brown, and I kind of like this brown just a little bit better. So, and like I said, we're just gonna lightly stripe these a little bit and try to keep some of that white color on there. And I'll put up on there on the screen the image of what these are kind of supposed to look like. You can see how close I can get to the color that I'm trying to mimic. So there you go on those. And like I say, I'll put a quick picture up of where I got the kind of white and brown color scheme from. This is your orange. See, the underside is all painted too. And then I'll get the other colors up here. I got to get some stuff moved around a little bit, cleaned up, and we'll go from there. All right, I got things kind of straightened up a little bit so we can take a look at these. These are our stand-up jig heads. As you can see, that's why they're called stand-up jig heads, of course. There's your chartreuse or yellow. Have our kind of dark pink color, orange, and we have the white with kind of brown tones to it. So leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. What you think about the colors that I went with on this. If there's any other colors that you could think of that maybe people might want a little bit more than these colors. And also let me know what you think. Try to come up with a name for these because they're sheephead jigs. I was kicking around the idea of calling them Bo Peep jigs because they're for herding sheep. So don't know. That's something I'm kicking around. I'm trying to get a logo together. These should be like I said, if you're in the Northwest Florida area around the Weewa area or Panama City area, there will be stores that start carrying these. Hopefully soon. I can't really put a date on it right now. Um, this has happened rather quickly, something that's came together. So I got to get all the supplies in and really start cranking on these, getting them out. I'm going to be doing other jig heads as well. Like I said, I will be getting in round jig head for panfish and crappie. I will be getting in some minnow style jig heads and also making different style of the um, soft bait jig heads and sheephead jig head because I've got both the stand up and the Erie style coming. And we'll get into powder coating these. They won't be painted. When I do the white and the brown like this, what will happen is I will um, powder coat the white, and then the brown accents will be put on with paint. But other than that, all the jig heads, all the colors will be powder coated on, so they'll be a good, long lasting color. You can beat these things off of pilings and stuff like that. And they'll have some really sharp mustad hooks on there. Not going to skimp on the hooks at all. Put out a good quality product, and hopefully y'all enjoy watching the process of making these. We have more interesting news coming of what Southern Tide Chasers is going to be getting into, another business venture that I'm not quite ready to talk about yet. But if you look at some of the affiliates that we have, it has something to do with those guys. So stay tuned and come back and check us out and see what all we got going on. Like we always are going to be doing reviews and now making these jig heads and hopefully getting into even more jig heads along the way, getting that stuff done. And go check out the channel description. Go check out the affiliate links. Like I said, that helps the channel out. It lets them know that you guys are watching and paying attention to what we're showing. And stay tuned next Thursday for the next video.